welcome to Bazzle Baby's Things They Don't Tell You, a roundtable series featuring a lot of great moms to talk about things they don't tell you in hopes that we can shed some advice, share some funny stories, some tips to other moms that might be watching and trying to navigate the different fun things that we deal with in parenthood. So a little bit about Bazzle Baby is we are a designer, baby accessory, and lifestyle brand focused on style and convenience for the modern family. We were really excited to start this Zoom series to get all these moms together, and with the current climate right now, the topic that we're talking about today is schooling during a pandemic. So this is top of mind to all parents, whether your kid's in daycare or your kid's going into school, if you're a working mom, if you're homeschooling, if you're staying home with your kids. It's all about making sure that they're getting social interaction, that they're learning. And we've got some moms here today to talk about how they're dealing. Everyone does everything different, so it's judgment-free, very open, honest communication. So I'm going to start with going around the room and letting everyone introduce themselves, going around the Zoom, I guess I should say. And so I will start with Brittany, and you guys can just tell us your name, your location, and the age of your children. So go ahead, Brittany.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I have 3 kids, 11, 4, and 2.
All right, great. All right, Alexa.
Hi, my name is Alexa. I'm in Tampa, Florida, and I have 2 boys, 8 and 6.
All right, Gina.
Hi, I'm Gina, and I'm in Northern Virginia, and I have 2 girls, 4 and 10 months.
All right, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Melbourne, Florida. I have 2 kids. My daughter Lily is 8, and my son Kason is 2.5.
Kristen.
I'm Kristen, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I have a 7-month-old.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. We're really excited to have you and hope to have you on some future ones as well. But I'll go ahead and jump in and get started. And so parenting and schooling during a pandemic. So right now we're all dealing with COVID-19 and how to navigate that space, and school is a big topic. So first, I'll start with when we first went into quarantine. You know, a lot of kids were still in school. And so how did you adjust, and what was that adjustment period like?
Crazy. So my daughter was in preschool. It was her first year of preschool. She's, like I said, she's 4. And we didn't really know, like there was no telling her, okay, this is going to be your last day. We said goodbye to her teachers, and then we didn't go back to school. So I think for us having a younger child, just trying to explain what was happening, and then having everything like her dance and her school and her friends just shut off without any warning was really hard. So yeah, it was very crazy.
Absolutely. Same here. I remember my 8-year-old, she was in 2nd grade. She had a Helen Keller little thing where she had to do this historical project on Helen Keller, and that was her last day of school, and it was supposed to be the last day before spring break. And I mean, basically she went on spring break and never came back, and she was just super sad. You know, she never got to say bye to her teacher. Her teacher is now going to be an online teacher, so who knows when she'll actually see that teacher ever again. It was a hard adjustment for her. She's a little bit older, so she understood, you know, that something was going on and she couldn't be in school right now. But the transition for her to taking her online, you know, finishing her online classes last year was terrible. I mean, she did not do well.
Yeah, same for us. We were about to be on spring break. I think it was the week before when everything started getting really crazy and it started becoming more prevalent here, and I was nervous as a parent sending them every day. Couldn't find like any hand sanitizer, like couldn't get it off of Amazon, couldn't get it. I just wanted them to be able to be like doing that on their own because I didn't trust the school to take care of it. And I was pretty nervous about it. And then, but I didn't stop sending them because it wasn't really bad. And then we, like you said, we went on spring break and we just never went back. But my kids they're boys and they're 8 and 6. So they were like sweet, we don't have to go back to school ever again. Like, as it kept going, they were like, yeah. They're not like, oh, I miss my friends. They're not like girls are, so they didn't care at all. They were actually pretty pumped about it. So
Right.
Yeah, my oldest, she's actually my stepdaughter. She's 11, so she's a homebody. I think the transition was easiest for her because she just doesn't mind being at home. And of course, she's old enough so that we can talk to her about things, and she kind of understands what's happening. With my toddlers, the preschool stayed open, so we were actually pretty fortunate that happened because we didn't know what we were going to do with childcare if it did close. So it was just a really weird transition. And of course, the oldest one slowly realized, the field trip she had been looking forward to at the end of the year wasn't going to happen. Birthday party that she had in April planned wasn't going to happen. So it was just those March and April when we all thought, oh, this is going to be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and then it'll get back to normal. And then we all slowly started realizing, no, it's not.
Right. I know. When I first saw everything happening on the computer, like, when you Google like stuff, I remember when SARS and all that, and we're like, oh, it'll never come here. And that's kind of the way I looked at it, and then you see one case in California, one case in Washington. And then I'm like, oh, this like might not be good. And then it just blew up.
Yeah, I had a bit of a different experience because our baby was such a baby, and I was actually on maternity leave and getting ready to go back to school where I work, and then that's when the school I work went virtual, and my job at the school involved international travel, so all of that shut down. So I returned to work but virtually, and then was able to spend more time with our baby at home. So I think I kind of got the good end of the stick there, but it really tough to watch everybody have to go home from school because it's such a great community. But yeah, I think our kids handled it really well. I think now we're just trying to figure out what the new normal is for now, what school's going to look like. So
yeah, and I know that like the anxiety is building up. We thought it was going to be a short amount of time. It's turned into more than that, and it's time for kids to go back to school if they haven't already. So I would love to hear a little bit about like how you deal with that anxiety, or like another form of mom guilt, but in a different way, and how you've made the decision whether to homeschool or send your children to school.
Yeah, so Lily actually, crazy enough, she started therapy during this whole time, as recommended by her pediatrician. This, honestly, for her has been probably, harder on her than it has been for us. She's super social. Her friends are her favorite thing. She also has an eye condition where her eye muscles don't work together. So to ask her to sit on the computer for 3 hours a day to finish her schoolwork, it wasn't like just asking a normal kid. Her eyes, when she focuses on the computer for so long, the muscles wander, so her eye kind of goes crazy, and she can't, if you unfocus both your eyes, you can't see what you're looking at. So trying to like tell her that she has to finish this, and between that and not seeing her friends and being home with her little brother who's a toddler, so staying in the house constantly really took a toll on her, and she definitely exhibited a lot more anxiety than she ever has in the past. So just trying to deal with that and making sure she understands this isn't forever. Like, yes, it's seeming like it's a long time right now, but life will go back to normal, and just making sure she has the proper people to talk to, because I don't, the reason we brought her to a therapist too is I don't have all the answers. We all should probably ask someone, what to do. So that's been helpful in, walking her through the steps to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
great, she has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like for us, they were fine. It just felt like an extended vacation, but I would find myself like just being really stressed out, like after like long periods of time of like not having a break from like leaving the house at all, or just a lot of work or whatever it might be. I mean, we were all in the house together, so I would find it like all coming down at once on me, like the feelings of like, this sucks so bad. We want to go to the park, we want to do something, and then I would just have to remind myself that like this is not normal, no one in our history has ever dealt with this, and just to like cut myself a break and like chill out and like eat some ice cream and sit on the couch and like not do anything and not worry about it, because what can you do? I mean, this isn't like anything you can go and ask somebody about or anything you can have an answer to, so you just have to be patient with yourself.
Right.
Yes, give yourself grace, because I found myself wanting to be the homeschooling guru in like a week, and that's not my strong point. And you know, oh, I should be doing this and I should be, you know, tackling all these house projects, but it's like, no, like this is kind of a crazy situation, just survive and then figure it out. And I think everybody's decision to send their kids to school or not send their kids to school or do virtual learning, you know, everybody's in a different situation. So everybody's going to decide, just do what's best for their family. And I had a lot of anxiety just making that decision. Am I going to send her? Am I not? You know, and we definitely had to outweigh what the quarantine was doing to us as a family, what it was doing to our daughters, and just like the overall picture. And, you know, we did decide we are planning on sending our daughter to preschool in a few weeks. And it was just, ever since making that final decision, I'm like, okay, this is our decision. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to move toward that, and not looking back and not looking like, well, what if I would have done this, or what if this happens, and just making that final decision, and whatever happens. So
that's great.
That just kind of.
Yeah, I agree with that. As soon as we made our decision, like the kids are going back, we'll deal with whatever comes. I feel like things started to fall back into place a little bit better, and we were able to, you know, see a light at the end of the tunnel, at least for the next few weeks.
Yeah. But trying to explain to my daughter, you know, at first we thought it was going to be a shorter period of time. Okay, we're going to quarantine for 2 weeks. We're going to quarantine for 6 weeks. We're going to quarantine. And she kept asking, can I go back to the school when the virus is gone, And we're like, yes, you're going to be able to go back. Well, she's going back to school and the virus isn't gone. She's like, oh, is the virus gone? I'm like, well, no, we got to talk about it. And so just, you know, really just trying to explain to her that this is something that we're going to have to live with for a little while, and that the reason we're wearing masks, the reason we're, you know, not doing certain things is to try to protect ourselves. And so that's been interesting and kind of hard, but you know, we're all just trying to do the best we can.
Right.
Yeah, I have a little kid, so I don't know how you would explain that. So that's an interesting way. Like, that's always something I thought, like, how would I even try to go about explaining this? I mean, you have to be honest, but some kids are smaller than others, don't understand it. So how are you, you know, explaining this to them? Like, this is your new back to school shopping list. Like, a mask is part of it. A hand sanitizer is part of it. And like explaining that to them.
Yeah, I definitely have experienced anxiety and stress and mom guilt in a way these last 6 months that I probably never have before. And, you know, keeping my kids in preschool was necessary for us. I mean, I run a small business by myself. My husband works a crazy amount of hours every week, and we just didn't have another childcare solution. I couldn't run my business with a 2 and 4-year-old at home. The 11-year-old, she's easy, but the babies, I call them babies still, but the babies are just, I couldn't fathom trying to work full-time and take care of kids full-time. And I know that there were moms that did that, and I had friends that were doing that, and they were just miserable, and I just have no idea how they got through it. It seems like an impossible task. It truly was an impossible task. And I know that I have resorted to, like, hey, I probably need some anti-anxiety medication to get through some of these stressful times right now. You know, there's no shame in dealing with your mental health in whatever way you need to. And I think for me, one of the hardest things was not seeing family. You know, we really were very cautious about that because I have a lot of family that we normally see on a very regular basis. And So I think that was the hardest thing for me and for my kids, is that we were so isolated from our family when we were used to seeing them. And we kind of, have decided to, for the sake of everybody's mental health, to loosen that up a little bit, and spend more time together, but with, caution. Like, I'm not allowing my babies that are still in daycare around my 80-plus-year-old grandparents. I'm just not. So, because they couldn't keep a mask on. You can't expect a 2 and a 4-year-old to keep a mask on.
Right.
So we're just not doing that right now. But it's just tough. Everybody's got to make these decisions, and they're super stressful.
Yeah, and I don't think there's not a good decision. Like, there's just I just feel like you're faced with just 2 decisions. Either like your job takes a hit, or your child doesn't have that socialization and education, or what have you. So I think each family has to just try and make the best decision given our options. And yeah, it's really tough. Our son just started daycare, but I feel good because he's close to my work, and it's a smaller place. So I'm trying to outweigh what risks that we're taking, and trying not to take as many other high risk things to kind of offset the risks we are taking being back at work and being at daycare. So I think everyone has a different threshold, though, of risks that they're willing to take with their family. And that's been hard to not pass judgment, and just to,
Yeah.
Everyone has a different situation,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I have a little baby, and luckily, if this was something that affected kids a lot, I don't even know what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would make it completely, we'd probably all stay in
Be in
a
a
bubble.
bubble.
Yeah.
I would need to get wine delivered, boxes of wine delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would have problems.
It's so scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about it, so.
Yeah.
And I think that's why things like this are important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing Zoom meetings just with your friends, or just, we did one Zoom meeting just, to say hi to friends and check in, and you feel renewed. You can get through a couple more days of isolation if you can just, see a friendly face and be like, oh my God, this is terrible. Are you dying? Because I'm dying.
We did family game night on like a Zoom, but it's on the house party app. So we do that with the family.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fun.
How do you, so is that leads me into another thing, socializing while social distancing, how are you doing that? I mean, we're doing it some on Zoom, or some of us are, still working and doing things like that, but how do you keep your kids social in a world where you're not supposed to be social, I guess?
Right. Well, as soon as school ended, a lot of the parents reached out. My 8-year-old has the Facebook Messenger for kids, which is awesome because it's on my phone, so everything goes through me. And almost all of Lily's friends are on there, and they talk, a couple times a day. And that's been nice too, because she's having trouble understanding why, when she goes back to school on Monday, some of her friends not going to be there. Every summer when they come back to school, they're used to seeing, 30 plus of their best friends. Well, half of them, if that, will be there. There's still going to be a lot of her friends that are e-learning. So, as long as she has that connection and can still reach out and talk to her friends and see how they're doing, that's really helped. It's been a good app to use.
Yeah, my oldest has been on her games and her phone. She has a phone. She's been on it a lot, but she's getting social interaction that way. And it's hard to tell them no. I mean, they're playing Pokemon or Minecraft or whatever it is, where she is interacting with other kids, with her friends on those games. And we gotta give ourselves grace. We gotta give our kids grace too. It's just as hard for them as it is for us.
Right.
Yeah, we have our vices too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, we think about, I mean, we're on social media, and so we're able to kind of see what our friends are doing, and I can only imagine what it'd be like to have, you know, an older child right now, and who actually, I mean, my baby has friends at daycare, but they have no idea what they're doing. But you know what I mean? It's just, I think that's important that they keep those connections.
Yeah.
And it's important to give yourself a break. Like, just as much, you know, you got to give yourself that break, and you got to let them do that. I mean, everyone does everything different. If you can do it all, great, but I haven't found that I can do it all, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You come to terms with it, and I think things like this have really taught us that.
Yeah. And I think this, like, I know this sounds crazy, but I work part-time, so I work 3 days a week, and this has made me appreciate my job so much, because I could not be a full-time stay-at-home mom. There's no way. Thankfully, I work with a lot of young girls who have young kids, so we're all friends and we relate to each other. And I always tell them, like, thank God I have you guys, because that was my saving grace, and I could like recharge when I went to work, even though it was physically exhausting. You know, it just gave me that like reboot to not have to only talk to children during the day and clean diapers, and you know, that was my saving grace.
Yeah, anytime you can have to yourself doing anything. Yeah.
Grocery shopping is time to myself. It's like, I will go grocery shopping. I will do a Target pickup. I volunteer as tribute.
That's awesome. Well, are there any other tips, advice, things that have happened that you just want to share in closing?
One thing I was going to say, for any of the kids who need to wear masks, what I've learned from working at the hospital, like when you wear it for 8 hours, the elastic around your ear kills your ear. Buy your kids those scarves that go over their face that they can pull down, that won't pull on their ears. That's the only thing.
Tell them,
because yes.
Not trying to do it like selfish plug, but
it's like they're perfect in there.
Yes, it's perfect. They can pull it up. Yeah.
Yes, I'm like really excited for Emma to go back and wear them, and it's perfect because like it gets really cold up here, so I'm constantly putting her in turtlenecks anyway, so that'll be a good. And my husband, when he's working, he's a police officer, and he has every type of mask that you can have, and he said the ones that go up like this are just a way easier, you know, to do. So we definitely need to get more of those.
Yes.
I mean, I have a hard time wearing a mask, so I can't imagine a kid.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Alexa, nope.
No. Yeah, we're not, I mean, we do it, of course, we wear masks everywhere we go now, but that was like my big deciding factor for school, was when they decided to have them wear masks to go back to school. It was like, I don't think we're going to do it, because I can't imagine them doing it all day, and I just kind of feel bad for them in general. So we're like, oh, we'll stay home.
Yeah.
We'll probably go crazy, but we'll stay home.
Do you have any good virtual learning stuff or programs or things that you really like?
We signed up for, it's called Time for Learning, time and then the number 4 learning. I like it so far. We haven't done a whole lot of it yet, but we're doing like full homeschool, so we're not doing like virtual learning or anything. We just kind of like pulled out of the school system altogether, because I don't want to deal with the virtual learning at all. I think it was pretty rough the last couple of months of school, but that website is really great. It's really interactive, and for young kids, it's got like the teaching aspects have like cartoons, and it's like answer questions as you go, and then they set them up with like a little thing at the end to answer more questions, and it's working well for us. And then we got like real books, workbooks, so they're not like on the screen all day, so we have like an actual workbook that they write in for all their different subjects and stuff too. So
and there's a ton of resources on social media, like Instagram and Facebook groups of like homeschooling, and they have like homeschooling kits where you can put your age range in, and they will send you everything you need for homeschooling. It's like a homeschooling subscription, and when we were thinking about going that route. We did so there are so many resources out there that if you are wanting to do homeschooling, or if you're new to homeschooling, you can kind of get into that too. I feel like that ever since, this happened, there has been a lot of great resources provided to parents. And I know like Emma's school, they had they set up a whole app for them to dump all of their resources in and crafts that we could do, just to try to keep it as normal as can be. And they had the teachers like reading books to them and stuff. So that was really helpful. And then of course, we tried a lot of different learning apps, for like preschool age. Khan Academy is like a really good preschool.
Yeah, Khan Academy is free too.
Yeah, see, we tried ABC Mouse too, and we liked it, but like you paid for it, and I wasn't thrilled with some of the books that they were reading, Emma. So I really liked Khan Academy. So I highly recommend that for younger kids.
Yeah, it goes up to like high school too.
Does it really? Okay.
It's the free SAT test prep. So if you have like high schoolers.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it goes all the way up. And they added stuff, I think from like grade level, I think first grade, second grade.
There you go.
And then if your child's having trouble, like in a particular area of like math, it is super intuitive and amazing.
Yeah.
I also like PBS. They do a really great.
Yeah, PBS has been great.
Breaking down different things. So.
Good.
But shout out to the teachers. I mean, the last 6 months.
Oh my gosh, I know.
For teachers, they had to pivot in a way that maybe it was totally unprecedented. I mean, no other industry that I can think of really had to change the way they do business as much as teachers, maybe restaurants too, but and they're all going back into this new environment, and God bless the teachers.
Yeah, the stress level is certainly high for them, and I definitely give them props.
Yeah.
Cheers to the teachers.
Cheers.
And the moms.
And to the moms.
Well, I just want to thank you ladies so much. I hope some people found this helpful. Anyone that's watching, loved having you guys on here. And we're excited to continue this series with different topics. So as everyone's watching, please feel free to like, share, comment. You can find us on bazzlebaby.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course, YouTube. So we look forward to having more of these and hope you guys got something out of it. And I hope to talk to you soon. Thanks, ladies.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.